On the one hand, I have the impression that as humanity, very unjustly spread over the globe, but as humanity we have more and more tools at our disposal. So I know it's a very traditional understanding of technology to say it's only tools, but we have technologies where we can really realize some of these great dreams of our civilization of having less toil, hard work, communicate in new ways. And for me, in my age, of course, it's still incredible to see that I have half of so much knowledge of humanity just in a little device always with me, etc. On the other hand, it's the great question and problematic question is we have this, and we have the most educated world population in world history, but our societies become even more atavistic and more less civilized than they used to be in some ways. In some ways there's also progress. So the great question is, why are we not able to enjoy the fruits of this progress, but why are we using it largely or to a large extent for destructive purposes and for a kind of narrow-minded consumerism. So I don't mean it's not good to consume, it's wonderful, but there's a lot of activities going on that are not really helpful for enriching our human experience and improving our relationships to non-human nature, etc., but are just for individual entertainment, for forgetting about the world, not changing the world. So. This brings me back to a question that we discussed before. So I would say if it would be very good if we would understand that technologies can be means to create new ways for us to live together, and also to live with nature in a less destructive way. But we have a lack of imagination for these kinds of scenarios, and so for this reason I think it's very useful to have many of these new activities where citizens are involved and artists are involved, and they try to develop, often in a playful way, new ways of using technology for interesting new purposes of living together. On the other hand, there are strong tendencies that by technologizing the human being conceptually, we are also treating ourselves even more as, so to say, machines. There are strong tendencies that by technologizing the human being conceptually, we are also treating ourselves even more as, so to say, machines. And I'm not the person who is against these machine metaphors. To some extent, I'm really fascinated by some of this modernist, early 20th century vanguard, avant-garde ideas of humans-machine merging. So it's not about critique of the machine as something evil, but defining oneself as a machine that needs repair and needs improvements, etc., only to function in a work life which is often not very fulfilling. And this is something where I would say is the negative side of these developments. And I really like to emphasize that there is something going on, in my point of view, which is very negative. We have this technological progress, and our societies after the medieval ages were built in many ways in order to fulfill the dream of technological progress, replacing stupid work. But our societies are now not able to use the technologies for this purpose. And so what are the societies doing? We are creating meaningless work. And so the late David Graeber argued there are bullshit jobs, and bullshit jobs are jobs that can be well paid. But when the people are asked if the world would be better, the same, or worse when their job was gone, they would argue the world would be better or the same. So there's a lot of things going on where people have to perform work which is meaningless to themselves, and often also negative for the environment or whatever. Just because our systems are not able to say, okay, people perhaps do not need to work so much. And this is, of course, related to all the discussions about universal basic income, etc., etc. And here I like to use the notion of bureaucapitalism.